from point A to this point B, so this might be 10, this might be 20, okay? So, now, when we're saying this, right, we're using the term quantity demand. So this is called movement, write this down, along the graph. In this case, it's the demand curve. Now, there's another situation. I just thought I should explain this before we get to the proper of the change in demand. And there are some video clips that you should watch about the Amish selling cows. I'm not sure if this video clip work. If not, just download them. Ooh, did I do that? Sorry about that. Didn't do it intentionally. So here's your first demand curve, downward sloping. And if it shifts to the right, okay, horizontally, well, in this case, yeah, shifting horizontal to the right. So we say that this is change in demand because you see the whole line shift. But this one, you don't see the whole line shift. You only see moving from one point to another. Now this, if you want, I could go ahead and label this point A, this point B. So this is a case that the price stays the same, like $3. But then here is 10, this might be 30. So you see the whole line shift to the right, horizontally, and we call it increase in demand. And if we shift to the left, we call it the opposite, which is decrease in demand. Okay, now having said that, there's one other thing I want to point out. The causes or the factors that make the demand curve shift to the right, we call it other factors or factors other than its own price. Factors other than its own price. So that's what we are going to look at now. So I'm going to go back and remind you and then come back to this point. Okay, let's see where it is. Oh boy. Very slow, very slow. Thank you. And you must be Sean. Is that you, Sean? Okay, very good. So there it is. A change in demand, a shift of the entire demand curve due to factors other than its own price change. You see the difference between the two? Because on your test, is that next Monday? Probably not. Somewhere. When is your first test? Let's take a look. Does everybody know? First test is on August 29. I think that would be, I believe it's next Monday. Yes. Yep. So that will be one of the questions we ask. Okay, be sure you know the difference between the two. Okay, so let's get to the proper on the demand side. So I would like for you to turn to page 30 in your book. You see this four graphs there? Okay, we are going to go over this four graph and then there's some factors down there. I typically ask the student to read that. You could refer to it, okay? The bottom of it, sky blue recap, factors that shift supply and demand. So on page 30 at the bottom, these are the factors that affect the demand side. And on the next page, right here, similar table, that's the factors that affect the supply side. Now, please, if this is the first time you're taking economics or have not taken microeconomics, the two factors are very different. They're not the same. Okay, so when you see your homework problem, the first thing you should decide is, okay, is this talking about demand side or is this talking about supply side? That's the first thing. And then, of course, the next thing is, should I shift the graph? Or should I, so is this like from one point to another? Is this because of its own price or factors other than its own price? And you know you have to shift to the right. But it's not that simple. It's not always shifting to the right. You have to analyze it. Is it to the right or is it to the left? So that gets to the point where, is this decreasing or is this increasing? Why don't I get a volunteer very quickly to read that bottom of that factors for demand change? Raise your hand if you want to read, you want to volunteer and go ahead and read it. Anybody? Okay, Jared, please, go ahead.
How are you? Factors that cause
Yeah.
an increase, rightward, upward shift in demand.
Yeah, go ahead and read all 6.
A decrease in the price of complements to the good or service. An increase in the price of substitutes for the good or service. An increase in income for a normal good. An increased preference by demanders for the good or service. An increase in the population of potential buyers, or an expectation of higher prices in the future.
Very good. And did you read that last line as well?
When these factors move in the opposite direction, demand will shift left.
Okay, very good. So we want to look at example of the first case, the complement good, and then we're going to look at substitute. Complement goods is something that you consume together. For example, your shoes that you're wearing. Look on your feet right now. Are you having matching shoes? I hope so. You're not wearing cowboy boot on the right foot and then like flip-flop on the left foot. They're matching. So you have to consume them together. Okay, the left shoe and the right shoe. Another example would be like, how many of you have cereal with milk? Most of you do, although every now and then I hear a student, and I've seen it in the cafeteria, like, they get dry cereal, eat it like that. Nothing wrong with that. But traditionally, you eat it with milk, so you consume together, we call it complementary goods. Okay, so now, so we wonder, it could be good, or it could be a product, or it could be a service. So let's look at a case where we are looking at the market for tennis ball. So let's look at the title, the effect on the market for tennis balls. So the word market there is a hint for you. When you do your homework problem, look for that word market. That will be the one that you have to show the graph. That's a hint for you. The effect on the market for tennis ball of a decline in court rental fees. Okay. So what this is saying is court renting is a service. So the price of court renting comes down. So you would expect people to play more tennis games, correct? Cheaper. If you play more tennis games, what do you think is the demand for tennis ball? What, right? Okay, so that's what happened. Tennis game goes up, the demand for, okay, and because of that, demand for TB, stands for tennis ball, goes up as well. Make sense? So I want you to pay attention that one is down, one is up. We don't care so much about the intermediate steps. So what happened here is that if the demand for tennis ball goes up, let's say this is point A, and the price of tennis ball at the beginning is $1 per ball, and this is 40 million. Okay, so when you look at a question like that, you say, all right, so the tennis balls is going, demand for tennis ball will go up. So which line do you think should shift, supply curve or demand curve? Obviously, we only talk about demand, so don't touch the supply curve. Touch only the demand curve. And then the next question is, what direction are we moving it? To the right or to the left? To the right, it's correct because it's increasing. So this is your point B. At point B, we say that your equilibrium quantity has gone up from 40 to something. We'll look at it. And the price has gone up by 40 cents. Okay, so that's what it is. And this number here, I'm going to use the same number, though I don't have to. This is your point B. So this is the answer. So if I ask you what are the effects, right? The effects essentially, this is the kind of answer I am looking for. You would say, oh, the equilibrium price has gone up as a result of this price of court renting fees for tennis games, tennis court has come down. And then the other effects is equilibrium quantity has gone up. So this is the answer. So box it. Right? Price has gone up and your demand for tennis ball has gone up, so quantity demanded and supply has gone up too. So if you look at this diagram, the 4 diagrams, so most likely it'll be one of the 4. So which one is it? So how about A, B, C, D, like that? Give me a label, A, B, C, D. So which one?
A.
That would be A. Okay, very good. So when you do your homework, I want you to pay attention that most of the time, 90% of the time, if you're talking about shift, it has to be one of the 4. Be careful though. You have to distinguish whether you're shifting the demand or the supply curve. And sometimes there's no shift at all. That would be the case of what we talk about, its own price change. You do have to pay attention to that. Okay, so the thing that I want to highlight is, see that the price of a complementary good has come down. Another effect is demand for a tennis ball has gone up. So they move in the opposite direction, one down, one up. And vice versa. Let's look at another example for substitute good. Let's see. Oh, this one is done everything. Okay. So let's erase this and let's look at the market for substitute goods now. So in this case, we want to look at 2 examples. Okay, one is the overnight letter delivery. We call it OLD or O. The other one is internet access. And we know which one is faster, right? Because even though you send a letter overnight, traditional letter, the person will still get it the next day. Sometimes it's not so efficient to get it the following day after the next day. But if you send an email, when did they get it? Right away, right? I mean, within the next 10 minutes, sometimes the system is slow, but sometimes instantaneously. So we're looking at substitute goods next. Example of substitute goods, as I mentioned the other day, Coke and Pepsi's. A good example. Liquid soap versus bar soap. How many of you prefer bar soaps? How many of you prefer liquid soap? Me too. But they're more expensive, right? It's more lavish. I mean, you want to feel like, but anyway, that's preference, I would say. Okay, so if you start out with something like that, we say, let's read it again to help you to do your homework, to analyze your homework problem when you read the question. It says that effect on the market for overnight letter delivery of a decline in the price of internet access. Okay, so you know right away that the word market gives away. The market for overnight letter delivery. So on your graph that you will present, on your homework problem, you want to label it correctly. And then the demand curve, here's your supply curve. That's what you start off with and say, hey, everybody could do L, everybody could do X. And then you could go ahead and label it. This will be for OLD, overnight letter delivery. Because it's a market for that. And then the other thing is, okay, so this is your first point here. I don't know what it is. Let's say $3. What is the factors here? Is it declines in the price of internet access? Cheaper. So if it is cheaper, you would expect more people to subscribe to internet. And you get a free email account, usually. Okay, so therefore, increase in internet subscription. In this case, the increase, excuse me. What is it? Did they say decline? Okay, decline in the price. Okay, right, correct. So there will be more people subscribing to internet. So there will be more email accounts. Therefore, the demand for the substitute of email account will come down. Make sense? Because they're both substitute. So if you increase the internet subscription, you will have more email account. And then the flip side of it will be you would use the OLD less. So the demand for OLD actually will come down. Pay attention once again that these two move in the same direction. We do not concern so much about intermediate process, but just for the sake of explanation. But then you look at the beginning part, the price of the substitute good, which in this case is internet access, is a substitute for OLD, overnight letter delivery. So if that's the case, you would expect which line to move then? Demand or supply? I hope it's demand, and if it is decreasing, you should shift to the left. Very good. So this is how you do the graph. This is your point B. Drop it down, and this might be to $1.50, and that might be, what is that? I think this is decreasing, maybe from 50 to 30. If you look at your graph on page 30, so which of the four? A, B, C, D? Tell me.
B.
B, okay, very good. The reason I'm asking you to point out is because when you are at home or in your dormitory room, you're by yourself, don't be afraid when you attempt the homework. So go back and say, I'm not worried, I'm just gonna go back 30 and look at this four graph and see which one. Okay, I know it's one of the four. You flip your coin up, please don't do that. The coin only in 50-50, you could roll it down because there are four diagrams. Sometimes it's beyond that, if it is its own price. Okay, next, this one I'm just gonna go over very quickly because this is talking about summarizing what we talked about. Okay, let's look at substitute goods first. I'm supposed to do this one, not that one. Two goods of substitute in consumption if an increase in the price of one causes an increase in the demand of the other. And vice versa. That means the one in the parentheses. If there is an decrease in the price of one will cause a decrease in the demand of the other. And that is the case right here. Okay? So in other words, for substitute goods, the beginning price and the ending price for the other good in which it is a substitute of move in the same direction. So that's all it's saying. Increase, increase, decrease, decrease. Now this one, what we just look at the tennis balls market is the opposite. Remember we show you that, the price of rental fee comes down, and at the end, the demand for tennis ball goes up. So they move in the opposite direction. Two goods that complements in consumption and increase in the price of one causes decrease in the demand of the other, or vice versa. In the case we look at the one in parentheses. Decrease in the price of court renting fee will cause an increase in the demand for the good of which it is a complement of the first good. Wow. Price of the complement of the first good, yeah. So in this case is how does court renting fees affecting the demand for tennis ball. So yeah, the important thing is to move in the opposite direction. I have erased it already, but remember I pointed it out earlier. And that is a hint. HINT, when you do your homework, well, not so much homework. When you do your test next Monday, that is a hint. That is, if you see both move in the opposite direction, you know, I know that is complementary good or service. And we then move in the same direction. Remember, one is talking about the price, the other one is talking about demand of the other good, of which it is a complement of or a substitute of. Okay, so that's a hint for you. If they move in the same direction, oh yeah, substitute good. Okay, so change in demand, we already talked about it. If it is to the right, it is increase. If it is to the left, it is decrease. Okay, the point number 3 that Jared read, income. You heard about the term normal good, you heard about the term inferior good. So in the case of a normal good, we say if your income goes up, you will buy more of it. What would be a good example of that? Anybody? If your income goes up, you will consume more of it. Give me an example. How about vacation? That would be reasonable. Start taking cruise ship. Yes, Miss Carr?
Electronic.
Oh yeah, definitely, such as iPad, tablets, Mac Air. They cost so much. What are the latest? Okay, let me think if I get it right. Is that PS4 station? Or PS2? PS2 was a long time ago, right? What is it now?
PS4.
PS4. Yeah, I thought I got it right, but nobody's saying, I didn't get any response there, you know? What about the other one, Nintendo? Is it still around?
Yeah.
Oh dear, not anymore, huh? Okay, so hey, that's it. Goodbye, McDonald's, and you know, start going to, what is this place? Outback, Ruby Tuesday. Eat better, cause your income goes up. Especially if your mom and dad comes to town. Don't eat at McDonald's. Break their heart and say, or ramen, please. Do not cook ramen in your dormitory and serve your mom and dad when they come by to visit. Don't do that, because we call it inferior good. If your income goes up, if your income doesn't go up, never mind. Eat all you want, 40 packs a week. Be my guest that if your income goes up, you might consider ramen noodle to be inferior good. Yeah, start taking them off the shelf, box it up, take it to Goodwill or Salvation Army, or give it away. Start eating better. Go to Ruby Tuesday. I know it's not like the best in the world, but better than ramen. Okay, so now that would be the case if it is normal good, right? The demand for that particular good was shipped to the right. Then you have example A, okay, in your diagram here. If it is inferior good, the demand for that particular good was shipped to the left if your income goes up. Because income is one of the factors other than substitute goods, complementary goods, the prices of substitute and complementary goods, and your income. Okay, there are other factors. Number 4, let's look at it. Increase in the preference by demanders for the good or service. What is the latest things that kids of your generation like that you must have? Tell me, give me an example.
iPhone.
iPod?
iPhone.
iPhone. No, it's not just iPhone, it's the version. It's iPhone, what is it, 6S or 7 now? Well, what's the version now, tell me? Is it still S?
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, 6? Yeah, I heard they have iPhone 7 in China. I don't know whether it's true or not. They have iPhone 7 somewhere? Soon, okay. I know they delay in America. They give it to the Chinese popular. I don't know why, because an Apple is right here, right? Okay. So, okay, that's what you want, and everybody wants an iPhone. Then demand curve for iPhone will shift to the right, and then demand curve for iPhone 4. How many of you still have that? Will shift down to the left. There's really nothing wrong. I had it still last year. Actually, I gave it to my son, and he keep losing them. You know, keep upgrading. I say, okay, now you're on the same level as me. That's it, you know. I don't want him to use too much of it. My son only started using iPhone like 3 years ago. When he was 16, he's 19 now. Gave him an iPhone 4, not iPhone, the cell phone, first cell phone, age 16 for Christmas. I say, Mom, return it. I don't want it. Get the money back. I'll buy more books. Anyway, yeah. He's one of the kids whom I raising up, not watching TV so much, but just books, and so his bookshelf is bigger than mine. But finally, the iPhone got him started, and say, okay, now I cannot live without iPhone because found the power of having all that nice things at your fingertips. Okay, how many of you have watched Jurassic Park? Okay, how many of you have watched it more than once? Yeah. Did you like it? Must be, if you watch it more than once. What did you like about it? The dinosaurs. I know. So when you were young, when you watched it, I think it was, how old were you? It's okay, you could tell me. 5, 6?
Years old.
You were 7?
Probably around there. I guess it depends.
Okay, all right. Never mind, we'll take 6, yeah. So you might say when you got out from the movie theater, you might say, Mom, let's go to Walmart. Yeah. yeah, more dinosaurs, more toy. So after the movie is being released, all this mom yield to the request of the kids, and then demand for toy dinosaur goes up. Wow. So Walmart has a big sales, and then Target has a big sale. They're all toy dinosaur. And what if someday they come up with another movie, just like Jurassic Park sequel? What is that now? How many they have done? 3 already?
Yeah, they came out with or it was like
What's the last one? 3?
Jurassic World.
Oh, well, I don't know that one. But anyway, okay. So let's just say if the new one come out, not this one, because I don't want to be sued by these Hollywood people, If another one comes out and it's just really like, gosh, a lot of like bloodshed, dinosaurs start eating people, it's just all this bloody scene, like very graphic. And start taking, start the lobby, and say, boycott this the movie. What happened here? Demand for toy dinosaur might come down. So now you get a picture. So pretty much we go with that A and B, okay, depending on, you have to analyze it. Now what do we call this? We call this trend or preference. One of my favorite examples is Obama came on TV and say, oh, Levi jeans is so wonderful. And then suddenly next day everybody line up buying Levi jeans. And then 3 days later he said, oh, I take my word back, this Levi jean is awful. I wash it, all the color comes out. Woo, bad. And then people hear about it and say, stop returning this Levi jeans to Walmart. So that's what happened. Okay, the trend. For whatever reason, maybe a movie star promoter, or maybe a celebrity or politician promoted, demand could shift to the right, and vice versa. I think you get the point. Okay, the last one, second last, okay, and point number 5, increase in population of potential buyers that will have the same effect, demand could shift up. Some of you heard about a project called BRAC. How many of you from Bayview? Okay, have you heard about that BRAC project, where they bring in more military personnel household? So suddenly, for Walmart it's not enough, they have to expand it, and suddenly utility company have to expand internet subscription, all these cable TV companies have to expand their service. So then demand curve shift up for all those necessities, water, electricity, and all that. Now if there's a war, like September 11th, not quite a war, but it hit New York City, so okay, lots of destruction, people die, okay, buildings go destroy. Now you have to build up, right? Takes time. So then population decrease, right? Vote enter for some of the things may shift to the left. So you have to analyze the situation and then figure out which one you should use. Okay, now the last example, expectation of higher price in the future. Okay, I'm giving this Apple computer as an example. So this is a demand and supply for Apple computer. And then read the title. The title says there's a credible rumor that Apple computer is going to come out with a cheaper model, maybe 3 months from now. And if you're thinking about buying, right, what would you do in the current state? If you're thinking about buying a Mac and then you hear that, oh yeah, 3 months later, or maybe make it a little bit quicker, like a month later, the price are going to drop substantially by 25%, what would you do today?
wait.
Very good. You are rational consumer. You will wait. So that means this is talking about current state, okay, demand supply. Then you expect the demand for Macintosh computer for now, current period, to go up or down.
No.
Okay, very good. Let's see if you're right. Yes. So it should shift down. Okay, and of course, if you hear that it's going to be going up, what would you do? Yeah, leave now. Go to Best Buy, get it. And if you have just bought, well, yeah. And even if you're not thinking about, well, if you're thinking about buying, that speed up your buying process. Definitely make the decision today because it may not last forever. That's what some people think. Okay, so that's basically what it is, and could I get a volunteer very quickly read the supply side? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Kai.
A decrease in the cost of materials, labor, or other inputs used in the production of the good or service, an improvement in technology that reduces the cost of producing the good or service, an improvement in the weather, especially for agricultural products, an increase in the number of suppliers, an expectation of lower prices in the future. When these factors move in the opposite direction, supply will shift left.
Okay, very good. Straight away. Now, remember they're not the same. So do not get the two mixed up, because if you get the two mixed up, you won't be able to pass this course. That is so fundamental. Demand and supply is a very different thing. These factors are very different. So let's look at the first one, decrease in the cost of materials, labor, all that. Cost of production. So one example would be, let's go ahead and look at the example here. We want to look at effects of the skateboard market, of an increase in the price of the fiberglass. So what is fiberglass? What's the relationship between fiberglass and skateboard? Somebody tell me, what is it?
Compliment.
No, we're not doing the demand side now, we're doing supply side. Okay, it's point number 1. Look at your textbook and tell me, what is it? What do you make the skateboard from?
Wood.
Fiberglass in this example, it could be wood, it could be some other materials, but in this case, fiberglass is the raw material in which you use it to produce skateboard. So this is SB, because you're looking at that particular market right now. We're doing the supply side now, okay? So this is all SB. So in your homework problem, please label everything clearly. Because I look at this very clearly, be sure this is labeled correctly for what items are you looking at. So this is a beginning graph that you should start off with. So the higher material cost, because the price of fiberglass, okay, we want it to go up, I think we did. Okay, the price of, did you say higher price? Increase, okay. So if this goes up, it's more expensive, right? Your raw material is more expensive now. So do you think you will make more skateboard now or you make less? If it is more expensive. Okay, so common sense will tell you less. So therefore, we should shift which of the line? Supply or demand? Supply, and to the left or to the right?
Left.
Very good, let's see if you're right. Very good. So which of the diagram? A, B, C, D?
D.
D, very good, you're right. So let's move it. Notice that I'm shifting the supply curve, not the demand curve anymore. So this is your point B. There, so this is higher, comparing point B from A, and this is lower. So that's what happens. So your equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, this is the final answer. You will say, oh, the price is going to go up. The star stands for equilibrium. I use equilibrium because you have both intersection of demand and supply for both point A and point B. So this will be down. So that's why you see that. Again, P star and Q star means equilibrium. Again, I can use that term only if I have demand and supply could intersecting. In this case, do. Because look at point A and B. Right, there's a cross. Look at point B, there's a cross. Okay, so that's the answer. So that's first point that Ms. Kyle read a while ago, increase in the cost of material. So let's look at another example. In this example, we look at market for new houses. So I'm not gonna draw it, well, okay, let's do one more, and then that's it, because you have to do all 4 diagrams. So in this case, again, read carefully. The market we're looking at is the market for new houses. Okay, so there it is. Do your L and do your X. After you do your X, start labeling and start calling it names. In this case, it is new housing or new market, new houses, N8. Okay, so that's your N8. So start with point A, and then you start analyzing. We say, oh, lower labor cost. What is that lower labor cost here? Carpenter's wages, cheaper. Is that cheaper? Yeah, decline. Okay, now this could be electrician, it could be plumbers, for construction industry. So if it is cheaper now, if you're in the housing market, would you want to make more houses, build more houses, or would you want to build less? You want to build more. Very good. So you would expect which line to move? Supply curve to shift to the
Right.
to the right. Very good. I think that is correct, but let's just check. Yeah, very good. Move to the right. So this is the kind of analysis that you have to go through your mind when you do your homework problem. So point B is now down here. And be sure you show the arrows, because a lot of time on students' answer, if you label it point A and B, it's quite clear. But also, if you show the label, the arrow, the direction, so I know which direction, whether it's higher or lower. But most importantly, I need to see this answer on your homework. So price comes down and this goes up. Equilibrium price comes down, equilibrium quantity goes up. So you see, you can't really memorize it. You have to do the diagram to get your answer. You see what I'm saying? You can just memorize and say, oh yeah. So demand curve goes up, so P and Q goes up. Demand curve comes out, P and Q comes out. So in this case, it's one goes up, the other one comes down, but which is which? And this is obviously by process of elimination. We've done all the 4 graphs except for which one? C is the answer. So that would be supply curve shifting to the right. So on your homework problem, you would have to show that. Okay. Next, okay, let's see. Supply, improvement in technology, improvement in the weather, number of suppliers. So all this will be the combinations of what we just done. Okay, will be the same thing. There's one particular. Okay, the weather. The weather is on the supply side, so remember. And then technology is also on the supply side. Better technology, supply curve will probably shift to the right, so that would be that scenario. I would hate to say technology goes backward, because that seldom happens. That would be this case. And then the weather. The weather affects what you produce in this area. What do you produce in this area? Other than tobacco. Well, not quite tobacco. Tobacco is a little bit up north. Corn, okay, very good. Sweet potato, right? So if the weather is good, you got a lot of rainfall, then you have a lot of produce. So then supply curve for agricultural products. Okay, tobacco, corn, what else? What have you? What else do you produce? Cotton? You got some cotton here. Marijuana, excuse me. They always shift to the right because, the rain falls, basically do the same. Now, if you have bad weather, define what is bad weather. Supply can shift to the left. Drought, flood, tsunami, hurricane. Did I miss any? Yeah, earthquake. What else? Did I miss any? We don't like to talk about disasters, so why spell them all out? Yeah, be positive, yeah. We got rainfall, so thankful, right? Okay, the last graph I want to show is simultaneous shift. So far you heard about what sometimes people call double shift. It's not working double shift, but it's the same language you use, but it means that it happened at the same time. So I'm gonna skip all the way to this diagram. Okay, there are 2 cases here. So let me finish it so you can do your homework. Double shift in. There's now a simultaneous shift in demand and supply curve. So we want to look at the market for corn, tortilla chips. Okay, so this is supply curve, demand curve. Do not label it wrongly. CT is corn tortilla chips. Okay, PCT, and this is your QCT. This is point A. So let's stop there not quite stop there. So let's analyze it. So I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. One is on the demand side, one is on the supply side. On the demand side, we say, oh, there is a discovery that the oil are harmful to people's health, probably corn oil. So if you read that, right, you say, oh, bad news, bad news. So then you would want to eat less of this corn tortilla chips, because you watch what you eat. And actually that effect is pretty big. So it shifts very much to the left due to these harmful effects. And that comes from, going back to what Jared read a while ago, page 30. Which of the factors do you think it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tell me. You could roll a dice because that's 6 phases, right? But tell me which one.
4.
Number 4, very good, you got it. Number 4 is preference, very good. Now let's look at the supply side. There is a reduction in the price of corn harvesting equipment. Let's look at the supply side on page 31, which are the following 5 factors. What is corn harvesting equipment to corn? Okay, let's see.
1.
Some of you say 1. It's
2.
not number 2. It's not technology. Number 1 is correct. Because this is cost of production. This is the raw material or the capital that you use. So if that's the case, right, it's cheaper now, so you can produce more. And let's say that that effect is very small. It shifts to the right, nevertheless, but it's not so big of an effect as in people freak out by this oil. So then the 2 red line intersecting is point B. So case 1 is the effects are equilibrium price. Is it up or down? Definitely down, yes. And then case 2, case 1 also. Everybody with me? Because from point A to point B, you have a big drop in price. So price comes down. What about quantity, up or down? So this is 50. What is this? Give me a number there.
40.
40 is good. I'll take 40. So this is down. So everybody understand that? So that's not the only case. There's one more case. Okay. What if its effects are not the same? The magnitude of the shift are not the same. So this is case 2. Same one, we got B and S. CT, point A. The only thing different now is the magnitude of the shift in demand and supply curve, they are now reversed. Meaning that the farmers actually react more to the supply side reduction in price, so they produce a lot more corn tortilla chips. Okay, so it shift to the right, but then people are not reacting so much drastically to that harmful oil effects or the news that they hear. So you see, I shift the demand curve only a little bit, but I shift the supply curve a lot more to the right. So where the 2 red line intersect is your point B. And right here, so you can see that the effects are, the equilibrium price definitely comes down in both cases. This one a lot more, but nevertheless same direction. However, what about the equilibrium quantity? In this case, it is higher or lower? About 70. So this is higher. So you have 2 situations here in which both prices come down, but then the quantity, equilibrium quantity, in one case is down, and in another case is up. So we use this term right here, ambiguous, to describe it. So we say the effects so the final effects, there should be one more line. The price comes down, the quantity, equilibrium quantity is excuse me. That means it could go up or it could come down depending on the magnitude of the shift in demand curve and supply curve. Which one is greater? How do you know which? Well, so in a case like that, you have to show 2 diagrams. Okay, and then I'll summarize it by saying, this is it. Now, I could tell you, if you do it the other way, like demand curve shift to the right, supply curve shift to the left, Q star would definitely move in one direction, but then P star will be. Okay, so I think we are right on time. Very good. So on Wednesday, be sure you read the chapter and then remember all the homework problem, I expect it to be handwritten, not typed. And I do want to see drafts, so go onto the Blackboard and download the questions and then, do the graph. See you on Wednesday. It'll be due when I walk in Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon.